Mr. Speaker, for the floor.
Thank you, Ms. Acting Speaker. I didn't think I'd be coming down here this term. And I want to speak on something real quick that Rep. Jordan had asked multiple times on the bill that we're fixing to vote on and the ability to be able to work within the inside of that bill in a convention. And there's 3 points I want to make. There was a Supreme Court decision regarding the 1913 convention. It was used as a basis of an AG opinion. It said, once the legislation is passed to call a convention, that piece of legislation covers the items to debate. The AG's opinion in 1992 said that the convention will operate within the bounds of the bill that was passed. And Joint Rule 44 from 1992 said that the presiding officers would rule on germaneness. So I certainly hope that those 3 points give some of you some comfort. So right now, what I want to do, I ask God to guide me first. So I want to build a record. And I might be here a little selfish, to be honestly. Came here today, and my card to get into the Ballards didn't work. So it's just the Ballards, they let me in. Came to the Capitol, went to go into another floor, and I couldn't get through the door. And if you remember, in January, I stood right here, and every single one of you had your children, your grandchildren, your nieces and nephews, your loved ones around you. And I remember the speaker at the time, Clay Schechtschneider, walked into his office, and he was frustrated. And I said, what's going on? He said, they've already locked me out of the Capitol. The Ballards don't work. I can't get in. And he was very frustrated with that. But it was an immediate reminder of how quick our time here is in this body. And like Cindy always tells me, when you're out, you're out. In 2016, we had a deficit. And we can argue on what the deficit amount was. But there was only 22 members that are in this house today that were here in 2016. And we were given 2 options: raise taxes or cut spending. And I can remember sitting right there where Turner's sitting, and a senator now, a House member at the time, brought an amendment to cut TOPS by $75 million. I didn't support that amendment, but it was to try to save the cuts in health care. And Rep. Davis and Rep. Hilferty, I know we sat, and Rep. Horton, we sat through what felt like years and years of testimony in Ways and Means. And so many people came just begging us, please don't cut us. I can remember driving to the Capitol multiple times after just being elected with tears in my eyes thinking, is this really what it's about? So again, I want to build a record. I heard the question asked, what happens when we go back home and someone asks why we voted for this bill. Why did I support this bill? Why am I going along with the process? It's amazing to me the amount of fear that people have for no reason. I mean, I heard that if such and such member votes for this bill, we're going to have a recall. Does that make any sense at all? I've heard what gets looked at in this constitutional convention. I've heard, what will the governor do? I mean, I saw the man stand right here and ask us to vote for another minority district in Congress and the Supreme Court. I've seen him basically have a revolving door on any person that wants to go and sit with him and share your concerns and try to address those. Every single member that's asked for a meeting through me, I can assure you, I've gotten one. Time. We need more time. So you might be asking, why did I say I'm being selfish? I think if you look at the first two slides right here, it's obvious that we're losing. What are we losing? We're losing our people. When you look at the first, I don't know if any of you stopped and looked at this, but the first two categories on the first slide shows 50,000 plus children have left public and private school education. 50,000. When you look from 2016, which I'll remind you was a deficit, going into 17, which I will remind you is a deficit, going all the way to where we are in 2023, what are we losing? Population. So what I'm fearful of is when I was getting dressed this morning, putting on my tie, I had a picture. I had 3 pictures. Savannah, she's 21. She's at LSU. She wants to go to med school. She works 12 hours a day studying and preparing to get into med school. Now watch Jillian, who's 17 years old, who's fixing to be a senior in high school, and is going to be thinking real soon about where she wants to go to college. And I look around at all of my friends, and let me tell you, I love each and every one of you. And I know how much it hurts when your child leaves the state to get educated somewhere else. I look at Cooper. I could say so many things about Cooper. But this year he was asked to play on the high school tennis team in 7th grade. And I missed every match to be here to make a change. So we don't have time. Our people are leaving the state. And I'm going to go back home and I'm going to tell them I did everything that I could to make sure that my children have an opportunity here. Because I know you want the same thing that I want. Last night I was sitting down with Governor Landry and his bride, and he said, "Fear is a liar." I said, "It's one of my favorite songs." I wasn't going to come down here today. but I'm doing it for my children. And we can talk about politics all we want, but to me, I just want them to have an opportunity to live, to work, and to retire in our wonderful state. With that being said, I support this bill. Thank you.